Today's Morphin Network video is brought to you by Karson's Korner. Karson's Korner is a black LGBTQ owned small business. They sell merchandise and apparel on pop culture franchises. These franchises include King of the Hill, Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon, and of course, most importantly, Power Rangers. If you're interested in getting their amazing merch, be sure to check them out at www.carsonscorner.com.
Now we'll finish the job. Rock Rush, activate! Rock Rush!
Mega Quick card!
Sea Shower card!
Quick Tornado card! Activate! Trifusion Blast!
He's mirroring all our attacks. How?
You have no idea what you're up against. With my new form and the alien energy source I've recently acquired, I am Power Incarnate.
So, Mr. Hood, how are you doing, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. The sun's out, it's 24 degrees, and I'm talking with you guys, so what could be better?
Awesome. And first off, I love Lord of the Rings, so thank you for being part of one of my favorite franchises of all time. So it's an honor. Thank you.
And I'm a big fan of Spartacus.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Spartacus.
And we're both fans of Power Rangers.
Yeah, Robot Power Rangers.
So we're tied 2-2.
Yeah, so
very, very, very different things.
I mean, like your shirt.
I'm gonna have to try and find myself one of those.
I know they sold this in 2014, so maybe they still sell those Amazon, maybe, hopefully.
Yeah. Hey, look, I didn't realize there was a Vrak, action figure when I was doing it, and I was like, oh. So I ended up ordering a few of those.
We need to get you to an actual convention because I actually want to get one of those signed by you. So, hello everyone, welcome to a very special interview of Morphin Network. Happy Saturday or Sunday there in New Zealand. We have veteran Power Rangers voice actor. Yeah, well, technically he is a veteran actor. He played Vrak from Megaforce. He was the main villain, Prince Vrak. If you actually remember, here I'll use a memory lane. This guy.
That was my favorite version of him, by the way.
And this guy. Oh, let's just say he has a mini forms. There you go.
There we go. He had a few changes.
Oh, and in the Japanese version, he also had a Xandred form.
Yep, he has Xandred. And for you fans, I know you guys thinking he looks like this guy. There you go. So anyway.
Yep, that looks like me.
How do you get started with acting?
How do I start with acting? When I was going through sort of intermediate college years, I always used to do amateur dramatic theatre, a lot of musicals, and it was always a bit of a hobby thing, you know. I mean, I never thought, I guess no one ever thinks, oh yeah, you could make a career of that. And of course, came to the end of college and looking at university, what do I do? Don't know what I want to do. And then I had a lot of friends saying, why don't you apply for, Toi Whakaari, New Zealand Drama School. And Toi Whakaari is sort of like, I guess that's the pinnacle of institutions in New Zealand that just, it's all about theatre, film, the craft, and everything else. And I went, oh yeah, okay. So I looked into it. I applied. I got a place to audition. I think the year I auditioned, there was about 500 people auditioning. And then I got put on a short list of 30 people. Went, oh yeah, okay. I got invited back for they do a weekend workshop. So it starts on a Friday and finishes on a Sunday afternoon. They have a panel of teachers and industry sort of people, prepare a couple of scenes, and then they basically put you through the ringer all weekend and try and break you down and see what you've got, and then it's all thank you very much, we'll be in touch. And then I got one of 18 places in the class, so I was like, oh, I guess that's what I'm destined to do. So here we go. So I did that. When I started, it was meant to be a 2-year diploma. In my year, they actually upped it to a 3-year degree, which I kind of wasn't overly happy about because I didn't want to do 3 years. I thought 2 years was fine, but it was brilliant. And they break you down and they build you back up and they give you the tools and just so much more in depth than what I was doing as an amateur production sort of thing. I graduated from there in 1999, and then I secured a role on Lord of the Rings. As main role on that was as Aragorn's acting body double, Vigo. So I worked quite closely with him and all the sort of core cast, which was great for me as a sort of a fresh into the industry, learn off the masters, it was great. So working with all those legends was just brilliant. Getting flown around the country, doing different bits and pieces. I mean, they'd call me up and say, oh, hey Jason, can you do a Royal Guard? He's got a couple of lines there. So I mean, I'm in lots of different things, but you never recognize me because they would cover me all up and do me up, and then obviously I did some of the Hero Urukai stuff, so all the prosthetic work, so that was a good experience as well. Learned some stunts, so I did quite a bit of stunt work as well. So if I wasn't needed in one role, I was adaptable. I could go and do something else. So that was a good sort of period for the 2-3 years it went on.
Of course, as a huge diehard Lord of the Rings fan, thank you for your work. And before we continue, someone special here commented. I can't find it. Oh well, I'll just say it's Campbell. Campbell just said hi here, but I can't find it. But yeah, don't worry, Campbell. We'll go to your comment.
Coffee.
How did you get started with your voice work in Power Rangers?
I've never really been focused as a voice actor as such. I think it's when I started doing Spartacus, I ended up getting involved with the Loop group for that.
Yes.
I worked quite a lot, which was quite challenging when you're in a room with, a group of actors, male and female, and, sort of just, it's all improv, and we look at the scene, and it's like, oh, hey, great, we've got this scene, Jason, blah, blah, you guys come up, right, we're going to do this, that, the other, and then you're kind of trying to get the feel for the scene. It's usually, it's usually violence or of a sexual nature. Wasn't much else with it, but it's always challenging, and you're kind of in a room in front of everyone else doing all sorts of weird noises and sounds and grunts, and you kind of, it's actually amusing watching each other doing it, because your body's kind of doing stuff that it probably wouldn't usually do while you're trying to get into the whole feel of the scene, and you're looking at the scene and you're kind of like, yeah, I'm doing that. I'm with a prostitute, and if they had it recorded in those studios, I think it would have been hilarious for everybody to see. So anyway, I did that. I did some voiceovers for some, PlayStation adverts and bits and bobs, and then I got asked to come in and audition for this character, Vrak, Prince Vrak. So he was royalty. He was second in command, and I went, oh, okay. So that was he was actually my first Power Rangers audition. Didn't really know, because they don't, you don't get a lot. You get kind of a very short sort of roundup of the character, and then no pictures. I mean, I didn't see what Vrak actually looked like at that stage. So I just sort of tried to create something that was, royal, and of course then I've got to put an American accent on it, because for me, being New Zealand, royal would be, RP. Queen's English, so old chap, all that sort of stuff. So of course then I'm trying to create a character that was educated and royal, but with an American angle on it. So it was interesting. Anyway, I did that, and next thing I generally you audition and you go, okay, I gave them everything I could give them in the room. Then you forget about it. You move on and you carry on. And then I got a call from my agent saying, they really loved your audition, and they want to kind of offer you the role and get back in, and the rest is history. And of course the character grew, and of course if I had known how much he liked the sound of his own voice, I might have made the voice a little bit kinder. There were some days where I was sort of talking so much and it was all and by the end of the session I'd be going, yeah, that was great, okay, I'm just gonna go down and rest my voice, I just can't really say anything else.
So were you able to put like a lot of your role as Cassius into Vrak when you made the character?
Yeah, I kind of pulled on previous roles that I've done. I mean, generally, I don't play nice guys. I don't know why. I'm lovely, apparently. But it's usually murderers, it's, anger management people, it's, you name it. It's usually a bad guy. He's not a very nice guy. And generally, most of my characters die. There's been very few that have survived. Yeah, pretty much. He's got to die. That's what the audience wants.
No, I Cassius was definitely a character I loved to hate, and there was that satisfaction when Spartacus finally throws that spear at him.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I remember talking with Rob Tappert after we'd sort of shot that scene in the arena, and initially the spear I think was meant to go through my head, like through my face, but they decided that it was probably too much sort of with everything else going on, so like they had it going through, kind of through here somewhere, and I went to Rob Tappert. I said, so Rob. So he just got the spear through kind of his shoulder area here, so he could survive that, couldn't he?
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
You're a great actor, and we love your character, but he has to die. I'm sorry, it's just he gets burnt to smithereens after the spear goes in. Okay, but no one could have dragged him out and said, no, you're dead. The audience wants you dead. Sure, thank you very much.
Yes. Oh, so what was it? So Campbell, unfortunately, won't show here, but I'll just show here right now. It says that you're a legend. If you can see it, you can see it. It says you're a legend.
Love you, Campbell.
Yeah, love you, Campbell. Shout out to Campbell Cooley, voices Scrozzle, Snide, and a lot of characters in Power Rangers.
Campbell's always, I look up to Campbell. Like he's just such an amazing actor and voice actor, and he just the characters that he can create. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't class myself as one of those voice actors that can just go boom and have a character there off the cuff. I'm probably a bit more old school, where I need to sort of draw on things and play with it, and then slowly find the character and the voice. But yeah. But I enjoyed it, and he was I think, because I think when I started Vrak, I didn't really know how epic he was going to become, because he was a second in charge, and they didn't really give me a lot of his storyline through the whole thing. And it wasn't until sort of like, obviously, right, I'm going to take over control, and then it's sort of, you could see his storyline, and his through line, and where he was wanting to get to, and going, okay, this is looking promising for Vrak. He's got ambitions.
Honestly, I think Vrak was even better than the Japanese counterpart in terms of voice work.
I actually agree with that. I actually highly agree. Speaking of Vrak's voice, can you tell us how you find the voice for Vrak? Like, what made you get that voice?
Ooh, now you're challenging me. It was a wee while ago. I think I sort of started with that. I started with a base of, dropping it down a bit, and this is the da-da-da, blah, 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 blah. I am Vrak, and I'm going to destroy the Power Rangers, and then it sort of became a little bit more, I just sort of pulled on tweak, obviously putting the American accent into it, and those Power Rangers, I'm going to destroy them, and then it sort of grew out of here, and he became very guttural, I guess, because he, it was like this alien prince thing, more, he could sort of, it just sort of, it was organic. It just sort of grew and I think it actually grew from probably his first step through, a wee way into it before he really sort of, but it was kind of, he could change, like he could grow a bit because his character was sort of growing as well and becoming more powerful and presence. Then he becomes more, I guess, more ego. The ego grows as his power grows, and he just sort of fell into place. I don't know, that probably doesn't really answer the question. I've just sort of gone around the edges there, but
that's fun. That's understandable.
What is the thing you liked most about playing the character of Prince Vrak, and Prince Vakar? Clicking your fingers and they all just jump at your command.
I mean, it was a power trip, pretty much. That's what I enjoyed about it, and having free reign with what I did, and to an extent. I mean, obviously, network and everything else, and the writers, you have to. You have to respect what they're bringing you into the room. Sometimes it was challenging because Vrak did like the sound of his own voice. I'd get there for a session, and we'd look at all the scenes and the dialogue, and go, wow, he's got a lot to say today. Oh, and how many seconds do we have to get that into? Right. Okay. So sometimes we'd be trying to cram it into the timing that they've given us. You've got X amount of seconds to get 2 paragraphs in, and he started sounding like a chipmunk sometimes. So we kind of had, hey, back up. Okay, this isn't gonna. We literally physically cannot fit this dialogue into this time frame. So we had to sort of adapt sometimes, and change things around, drop a few bits here and there, just to sort of make sure that we could actually get it as much in as possible, and still get the feel and the sense of what was happening. So it was always challenging with Vrak. Every time I went to a session, I was like, oh, how much have we got to say today? And how much time we got? Okay.
I think it was a real shame that we never had a scene of Vrak and Vakar together, because they clearly hated each other, but they never shared a scene together. So I would have loved to see how you got a Tywin Lannister type of brother versus a Joffrey Lannister type of brother, like going at each other's throats.
Yeah, it would have got ugly. I'm sure it would have got ugly.
Being in Vakar, what do you like about your character besides killing a Power Ranger, which you actually broke my heart when I saw that episode? So
yeah. Oh well, it had to happen. I liked everything about him. I liked his, his costumes. I liked his frustration, his anger. He was a smart guy. And always, in his head, his mind never stopping. How am I going to defeat these Power Rangers? How am I going to defeat these Power Rangers? What's my next move? Okay, that's failed. He'd never let it get him down. He'd never admit defeat. It was always, right, what's next? What's next that I can do to, get them? There's always a plan. He was always planning.
I could tell by the voice of your character. It could tell because he was a schemer, so it actually fits that way. And plus, with all these many forms, I could tell. I'll say this: your villain, your character, was one of the few villains that would actually scheme things I ever saw in Power Rangers. Well, that's after the last season, so that's why it was a good fresh take on the Power Ranger villain. Now, speaking of which, you were part of an old drama series I used to watch when I was a kid because my parents used to love it, called Shortland Street. Can you tell us what it was like working on that series? Yep, I watched it when I was a kid. We actually had
yet another guy that wasn't very nice.
I remember your character too.
I think the character on that was, he fired everyone and took over running the joint. It's like, I'm just going to fire everyone, and then I'll have big control here and run this place, and it's going to be brilliant. But and we'll just keep my niece, who's got a drug addiction, supplied with drugs to keep her quiet, and it will be fine because that's what you do. And of course, then it all just falls down and collapses. But no, that was fun. I mean, it was quite different because I came onto that off the back of Spartacus, and obviously it was quite a different turnaround. Like Spartacus is obviously, it's big budget. It's like, we might only get 1 or 2 scenes done in a day, whereas with Shortland Street, it's fast turnaround television. So, they've got 3 cameras just going. We block the scene. We run the scene, we record it, and they get all their angles and record it again, get all the angles. Yep, great, move on, next one. So, but hang on. Could I do that again? No, you can't do it again. Oh, okay, right. So it was really interesting to try and get a different, like your mindset. And some weeks I'd get 50 scenes like in a block that we were filming that week. It was just it's just boom, 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 boom. So like also getting your brain muscle into that space of learning quickly, and only allowing a certain amount of time for each scene, but still trying to give the best performance that you can. Whereas you have more luxury when you've got those bigger productions, and this is the scene we're concentrating on today, so I can spend a lot of time seeing where my character is going to be and what level, playing around with it. And, so yeah, very, very different. I mean, thoroughly enjoyable. Wish he could have stayed longer, but it's always the way.
Now, there's another series you were in, not one on TV, but one on film.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your role in Rise of the Lycans?
Underworld
3, Rise of the Lycans.
Yeah.
That again, it was a great experience, and I remember the first day on set. So I was sort of the lead death dealer to Bill Nye, who was lovely. But I remember the first day they sort of, suited me all up and everything else, and we had 35 degrees heat, and we're in this big studio warehouse with no air conditioning, and like this, the big main throne room. And of course I had to go from one end through to the other end to tell Bill's character that Lucian had escaped, and of course it was so hot with all the gear and the armor and everything on. I get to the other end and I sort of like get this like da 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 da, and then it's like yep, great cut, and we go back, and I mean I was just pouring with sweat, and like it was like how many times are we going to do this? And I think once we kind of got the scene and we were happy with it, it was they kind of stripped me off of everything, and sort of had kind of cool bags on me to try and get my body temperature down, because I was just about to have heat stroke from it. But I mean that was great. And then we spent we spent a lot of time out kind of West Auckland and Forest Hill, a lot of night shoots on location. And to be quite honest, I think they were running out of time and everything else and trying to cut it all together. It was getting long. So a lot of that I actually spent sitting in a caravan reading books during the night, waiting to be called on set. So the character didn't get as much airtime as I guess he originally was meant to get. But, again, still an amazing experience to work on a show, and to be doing seeing a scene with Bill Nye was just brilliant, and obviously working with the others as well.
Can you tell us what was it like working on Lord of the Rings?
What was it like working on Lord of the Rings? It was probably the highlight of my career. It was. And it wasn't so much, I guess. I mean, it was always, it was always fun in front of the camera, while we're filming. But it was actually a lot of stuff behind the camera as well, like just the social aspect with some of the other big names, and also, if we were on set waiting to go do a scene, I'd be sitting around with Sir Ian McKellen and some of the others, and we'd be playing cards, with the younger ones, and like those sort of aspects of it, like the behind the scenes, and the whole thing of getting flying around the country and seeing different places that I'd probably never been to. I mean, you're born in a country, you don't necessarily see it all. So, I got the opportunity to see places I probably wouldn't have gone to when we were doing a lot of location work. And just great, crew. I mean, it was a big machine, and it was a well-oiled machine. Everything just rolled along. But yeah, I think for me, and hey, at that stage I was 21, 22, maybe. Coming straight out of drama school and actually getting on that was, it was just, best I'd ever hoped for.
I remember too, because when the second one came out, I was in second grade.
Right. Oh, shame, man.
No, you're not old. Don't worry. No one's old. Age is just a number.
You're as old as you feel. You feel quite young. So that's all good.
What advice do you have for aspiring actors?
I was going to say get a real job, but get a real job, No. I think seriously, I would always look at having more than one string to your bow. Have another strength for something that's not film, television, theatre orientated, that you can fall back on, should you need to, in between those gaps of, because it's great, you audition, you get rejected, you audition, you get rejected. It's like 3 months could go by or however long, and you've not landed a role, which means you've not made any money to pay bills. So it's always good to have something that you can fall back on, that, go and do that. But if I get a role, great. See you later. I'm out of here. I mean, I've been fortunate, and a lot of my friends and peers that that I've worked with, they all have other jobs that they do in between gigs. I was quite lucky. I moved to Auckland from Wellington in 2006. Basically, my agent moved up here, and she just said, "Jason, you need to get your ass up here because this is where all the work's at." Lord of the Rings had finished, all gone quiet in Wellington. There wasn't a lot happening. So I moved up here, and I was lucky I fell into casting. So I did a lot of casting for television commercials, which was brilliant because I was still involved in the industry, but in a different aspect of it. So I could still earn money even if I wasn't getting an acting gig. And I'm still doing that. More so, the commercial sort of thing dried up quite a bit. I think, with internet and everything sort of becoming dominant, a lot of those television commercials just weren't there anymore because the bigger reach was on the net. So then I got into drama, and I've worked with Annabelle Lomas, who as a sort of a reader assist for 10 or 12 years or more now. So I've helped with the casting for Spartacus, West Side Story, which is in New Zealand, West Side, which is a New Zealand series, Outrageous Fortune, which was another New Zealand series, sort of, which West Side, sort of a spin-off. Another one that we have here, Broken Wood Mysteries. I think we're up to season 8 of that now. So I've been fortunate in that sense where I've had the casting sort of work in the background if I've not got a role or an actual acting gig.
Yes, pursue acting you want, but also have a backup plan.
Have a backup plan. And it's not saying that you're not devoted and committed to your acting career. It's just good to have something else that you can fall back on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's medicine.
Yeah, because for me, I do a little bit like writing journalism, but like this. But I'm a public health guy, so I mean that is technically my core job. So yeah, see backup guys. See, like me and Logan, we go about backup jobs. Yes. Now, my last question before I go to comments.
Sure.
So, is there any projects that you could tell your fans or viewers that you could tell? Of course, NDAs and stuff, you know.
I have got a project coming up, but no, I can't tell you yet.
Answer. Good
It's
answer.
American, that's all I can say. And he's not very nice yet again.
You know,
I
it's
think
funny.
I think they categorize those characters as another asshole.
So,
Well,
guys,
in any case, you all could still check out the show The Sound that he was in 2020. So
and Lord of the Rings.
2020, last year was a bit of an interesting year for me.
Yeah.
I had been over in Europe for 2 or 3 months. I got back to New Zealand, and then obviously we went into lockdown level 4. Welcome COVID. So it was sort of not the best start to the year in that sense. I did one guest role, which was just a day player on a New Zealand series called Black Hands, which was sort of it was a drama that was based around a case that happened in the anyway, a long time ago, whereas a family got massacred down the South Island, but they've never really worked out whether it was the father or the son or So it was a really good series. I mean, as I say, I just got off. I'd auditioned, I think, before I went to Europe for one of the kind of bigger roles, but obviously I think they went older with that character. So when I got back from Europe, they were like, "Oh, would you like to come and play with us?" You know, no, he was the MC for the beauty pageant. So you know, again, he was sort of a little bit sleazy and you know, with the young girls and things like, "Oh, yeah, sure, why not?" And then after that, there were sort of productions that were meant to start, and then they kind of got put off, and you know, because as we were coming in and out of you know, kind of lockdowns here and there. So last year for me didn't really take off. The end of the year before I went to Europe, I had a good role on a Canadian New Zealand co-production, which was called The Sounds. He's probably the nicest character I've ever played, but again, he was just grumpy the whole time. So he's just here. I said, "You're always grumpy." I said, "Yeah, he's just a grumpy guy." He's just like, you know. So that was good. So that was in 2019. This year, it's starting to get busy. We're getting a lot more American productions coming over this way. I think maybe because it's easier for them to shoot here with restrictions over there. So I put a few self-tapes down recently. Just got confirmed last week for the role I can't tell you about. So and he's sort of recurring, which is great. So just waiting to hear back on a few others. But I've got a feeling this year is going to be quite busy.
Yeah, hopefully so. So guys, thank you. Now we're going to fan comments. So Jason, are you ready to say hi to the Power Ranger? Well, Ranger Nation. We call it Ranger Nation.
Sure.
All right. So, Paratamish, as always. Greetings from Mumbai, India. Hello, Paratamish.
Hello.
Everett Sanchez. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is his name. Paratamish.
Pratamish.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Everett Sanchez. Oh, hey, man. This interview is a super mega win.
Thank you, Edward. Love the phone.
I don't know who that is. Oh, shoot. That's your Silver Ranger. Is it Camarillo? Yeah, is it? I think. I don't know. I can't see it. Let's see now. Oh, Aaron Gelbs. Hi. Have you watched all the episodes of Power Rangers Megaforce? Greetings from Argentina.
Can I say no comment? No, I haven't watched all the episodes. I'll be honest.
That's understandable. But you were in it, so guys, he was in it. So.
I saw most.
Austin Yanover says, "Oh, you're new. He does an amazing job as Vrak." Aw, thank you.
Thank you, Austin. I appreciate that.
Andrew DeSoto says, told you guys to make it. Oh, yeah. Hi, Andrew. Let's see.
Hi, Andrew.
Did you ever watch Ghost Ager? Oh, well, technically you did. You're for stock footage. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a yes.
Kevin, hey. You're great as Vrak. Nice to put a face to the voice. Oh, yeah. This is who Vrak looks like without the voice.
Actually, I've been wanting to ask a personal question. Given all these ominous characters that you've played in the past, including Vrak, I'm curious, if whenever you walk into the room, which of the following songs do you want to play in the background? O Fortuna or Ave Maria?
Definitely O Fortuna.
Over.
Estos actos artefactos semper in Nunca capturat et
I used to be
tuncurat.
able to sing the whole song. I can't remember it all now.
That's okay. Pertimish saying, your favorite sports team, huh? You watch sports?
I do, but it's probably the All Blacks, New Zealand rugby.
Sometimes as a joke, I like to say that my favorite team is the Broncos because of Team 4-Star.
Fair enough. Go with the name.
Well, okay, you did answer this, but I mean, I'll add more stuff into it.
Yeah, Spartacus. Look, Spartacus was again a great production to work on. I loved my character. Nobody else did. But that was the whole idea. Look, brilliant production, excellent crew, actors, a lot of fun. Definitely a lot of fun.
Seth Martinez says, thank you for giving us Prince of Rock. Thank you.
My pleasure, Seth.
Seth Martinez, has anyone told you look like Jason Isaacs?
Who's Jason Isaacs?
I think he's like the guy. Draco's Draco Malfoy, the dad of Draco, one of main villain Harry Potter. Yeah,
Right.
So that's why I always saw that. I actually.
That would be a no then. I think when I was younger. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Wait, that's who played Lucius Malfoy?
Yes.
I don't recognize him because, like, I'm used to his hair being short. But then again, the only time I've seen him outside of Harry Potter was in the movie. I forgot the name of that TV show. The one where he wakes up, his son's alive. Then he goes to sleep. He wakes up, his wife's alive, but his son is dead. Can't remember the name of that show. It was a good one though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, his character killed.
Yes.
And best part is, you get to say you're the only main villain who got to kill a ranger.
Thank you very much. That'll go down in the history books.
Aaron Cash, hard to believe Prince Vrak's older brother was a white. Oh my gosh. I thought you were the older brother before.
Same.
Yeah, I thought too. When I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do a little more.
If anything, they should have said he was the big brother instead of the older brother, because then they would do the trope from the Japanese series where the older brother's actually smaller in size than the younger brother.
Yeah. But, do you have the Vrak figure?
I do. I actually, I've got two of them. I probably should have ordered some more.
Question: do you have your car?
Sorry?
Do you have your car?
No, I didn't know I had a car. No. No.
Hot Wheels too.
Well, Hot Wheels. Okay.
Yes.
I
So
better go order myself one of those if they're still available.
yeah. I think there's like 3 lap on Amazon. So just tell them you're the guy.
I will post a link if I could find it.
Do one more, guys. Hope to see you at a future con. Oh yeah. Since you have a toy and basically toys, and hopefully maybe Hasbro can make you a lightning figure because you were technically a villain. So yeah, hopefully we can see you in a future con here in the US, either MorphiCon or our sponsors, Ranger Stop and Pop and Ranger Stop. So Mike, if you're watching this,
Yep.
he's it.
And Hasbro, if I could make a recommendation, make the full angelic version. Just saying, or at least make a 5-pack.
Oh yeah.
With like every version, including the Xandrid one that did not appear in America.
Yeah, They should totally. I mean, you know, buy the whole collection. It's
Yes. Hey, I'm just saying, if they made this monster, who's legit a one-off, and they will definitely make yours. They have to. They have to.
oh no, yeah.
He legit only appeared in one episode of my Morphin. So, I mean, you're legit.
Yeah, I really want a lightning figure based on the Power Ranger villain, based on the hardest boss in Mega Man Zero series. Just saying.
Okay, all right. So yeah, so pretty much. Oh yeah, that's it. So thank you guys so much for being part of the interview. Again, thank you, Jason, for being our special guest. Where can you find you on social media if you have one, or a website?
I'm pretty bad with social media. I think I do have Jason Hood at Instagram, but I'm hardly ever on it. I'm kind of on that cusp of it scares me because I never had it growing up, but I kind of need it now. So I'm just in the throes of trying to get my head around social media. I mean, I do have. See, I've only got a private Facebook. I don't have a one for Jason Hood actor. But yeah, it is something I'm working on.
Yeah.
Slowly.
No worries. If you do have an Instagram, we'll give you.
You'll find it.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, I think you do have Instagram. I think I tagged you too, but there's like nothing in there. So.
Oh yeah, there's nothing in there because I'm socially inept, but socially online inept.
Yes. So yeah. Thank you. So Mike, where can I find you on social media?
Yes, you could find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/BrokenCowboy. And you can find me on Instagram at Korner_just_cosplay.
You can find me on Instagram, DancerBoy247, and please follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter at the Morphin Network. And again, thank you so much, guys, for being part of the special interview. Thank you, Jason.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Thank you very much for inviting me, guys. It's been fun.
Yes, hope to see him at future cons. So hit up Scott Milner, Michael Bioni. Yes, please, let's bring him here in the U.S. Hopefully, when COVID gets controlled or when it's over. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
It'll happen.
Yes, it will happen. All right, guys. Thank you so much. So we'll do a goodbye wave. Bye, guys.
Today's Morphin Network video is sponsored by Ranger Stop and Pop, which is now August the 27th to the 29th, 2021 in Atlanta, Georgia. And Ranger Stop Convention, which is now November 11th to the 14th, 2021 in Orlando, Florida. Go to rangerstop.com for more info.